What's up, guys? Today is Monday. We're going to go ahead and cover starting points and inverted head and shoulders in an uptrend. I'm not sure who asked to record, but hey, I like that. Y'all was on it, so shout out to y'all. Let's go. Isha, let's go. Love that. Let me go ahead and pull up the chat real quick. Good shit, though. I like that. Like that. All right, so let's go ahead. Yes, so today we're going to go ahead and cover starting points and inverted head and shoulders and an uptrend. So when the market is going higher, and you guys can easily see this, right? The market is just bullish, just like, gold. We can see that gold is going higher and higher and higher. Now, for us, I would like to go ahead and just continue writing some buys, right? If we can easily see that the market is going higher, I don't know about y'all, but I would like to see if I can catch buys in this area down here, this area down here, and this area down here, so we can go ahead and continue. Can you take some counter trends? Yes, I'm not going to say you can't, because there should be some type of counter trend in this area, in this area, and in this area, obviously, right? Because the market is going down. But for me, I want to go ahead and just catch that continuation. I don't want to fight against the trend, right? If like the analogy of like swimming in a river, right? Wouldn't it be much easier swimming with the current rather than against the current? Same rules apply. If the market is going higher, let's just continue to ride those buys. We don't have to be the first one in to say, you know what, I was the first one to catch this massive sell. We don't need that, right? Let's go ahead and ride the continuations. So let's go ahead. We'll pull the chart this way. And the first one we're going to start with is the starting point. So let's go ahead and we will break it down with the candles. Bust out. All right, so let's go ahead. These need to be green. So the market's in an uptrend, right, guys? So let's go ahead and continue. Market's doing its thing. Might have to zoom out and make these a bit smaller. Give me a second. All right. So the market is in an uptrend. Now we need to see the market create structure. We need to see a pullback, because right now the market is just continuing to go higher, right? So we need to see the market pull back. So as the market starts to drop, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. So let the market create structure, right? Right now, all we have, guys, is the market creating a higher high and the market creating a higher low. Does that make sense? Just like this right here. We have higher high, higher low. We need for the market to continue to break structure to the upside. We need to see the break of structure to the upside. So let's go ahead. We'll delete this. Now, the one tip I like to use, especially if you're a beginner, guys, use it. Like, man, I wish y'all just like tried to like be coachable a little bit and be like, you know what, Vinny keeps saying this. I'm gonna go ahead and try it and see if it works, instead of just using my eye, right? I promise you guys, it makes things a whole lot easier, right? Need BOS for buy opportunity. And we'll go ahead and make this blue, because we need a bullish break of structure, right? We need a bullish break of structure. We'll make this thing huge, right? We need the market to break and close above that. We need for the market to break and close above this black line in order for me to look for some more buy opportunities. Give me a 2 if that makes sense. I need the market to make its way and close above this black line. Once the market closes above this black line, we can start looking for some more buy opportunities, right? So let's go ahead. Bet. Awesome. And if anybody has any questions while I'm breaking this down, you can go ahead and put a question mark or just unmute. I don't mind if you guys unmute. I don't get upset, right? So let's go ahead. Market's making its way. Awesome. Let's see what's going to happen. Let's see what's going to happen. Market, sometimes this happens, guys, right? The market will bounce off of this resistance zone and it'll pull back. That's why it's super important that you guys wait for that breakout. Okay, super important. And let's just say, boom, the market wants to go ahead, get active. We finally get that break of structure that we're looking for. Did we get the BOS for our buy opportunity? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yes. Yes. So let's go ahead. We can delete this and just confirm that. Let's confirm. Boom, we got the BOS. Let's start marking up our charts and getting accurate with this guys. Okay, cool. Now again, levels is gonna help you. This is why I like levels so much, especially with the starting point, right? As soon as we get this break of structure, guys, levels is gonna go ahead and give you a blue arrow. Oops, did I put that there? Okay, a blue arrow on your breakout candle. Your breakout candle is not your starting point, it's your breakout candle, right? But it's letting you know, hey, we have a breakout right here somewhere. Okay, now as soon as we see this blue arrow, we need to match that color, right? We need to match this blue arrow to the blue bulls button. Match the color from the blue arrow to the blue bulls button. And as soon as you click on that, what's going to happen is levels is actually going to go ahead and draw out your buy zone. It's going to draw out your starting point. Okay, so let's go ahead and just make this thing blue. Does that make sense? You can give me a 1 if that makes sense, and if you're confused, give me a question mark. You match the color arrow to the buttons here, right? So if you see a red arrow, you're gonna put bears. If you see the blue arrow, you're gonna put bulls, right? Match the color. Pretty simple. Now, as soon as you find your starting point, guys, you need to find your stop loss. That's the most important thing. Finding your entry area is pretty easy, but we need to find our stop loss. Okay, so let's just put this down here a little bit, and we need to find our longest wick in this area, right? So as soon as we find our starting point, where's the lowest wick in that area, right? Let's go ahead and use that as my stop loss. Make sense, guys? You guys can you let me know. As soon as we find our starting point, we find the lowest wick in that area, and that's going to be our stop loss. If the market structure is pretty ugly in this area and it doesn't look like there's any wicks, you can always use the dominant low, right? But usually that's kind of too big for some people, like that stop loss is too big. So we try to minimize that as much as possible. So if we could find a low wick in this area, we want to use that as my stop loss. Okay, now this is our setup, guys. So we have an entry area, right? Our point of interest. Hey, Daniel Hernandez, I see you, bro. I'm not sure if that's your kid or your brother, bro, but I see you, big dog. Yes, sir. We have our entry point,
Sir,
our point of interest.
my little bro.
Hell yeah, my boy. Love it. Love it. Right? You have your point of interest. You have your stop loss with the minimum 1 to 3 risk to award. So this is what we're waiting for. Right? This is what we're waiting for. If the market is right here right now, we are not looking to buy because we see the market is in momentum. We're not momentum traders. Okay, guys? Just because we see these green arrows looking crazy, we're not trying to just buy in. Okay? Because what can happen is, let's say you buy in right here and the market starts to drop. And you're like, what the heck? Why am I losing money? Well, you are chasing the momentum. But when you understand that you have to wait for this area here, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to stop doing that, and I'm just going to wait down here so I can, maximize my dollar down to every cent possible. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to just enter when the market's in momentum, guys, because you never know. Market can hit that momentum. It could be a news day, and then market just leaves us a crazy wick, and then you're in drawdown. Right? We want to make sure we get the breakout and wait for our specific area. Okay, now let's go ahead. Once the market comes back, guys, we want to make sure we take this opportunity. We don't want to go ahead and, especially if you guys are new, guys, it's okay. Get your hands dirty. You guys should all be on demos if you are new, right? You guys should all be on demos if you guys are new. So get your hands dirty. We got to practice this stuff and understand why these are winning trades and understand why these are losing trades, because there's always a lesson to be learned, right? Now, once we're in these opportunities, guys, let's go ahead, because we're trying to go ahead and shift the market and continue that trend. We want to continue in that uptrend. Right? Does that make sense, guys? Now this is a starting point setup right here. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions, guys, at all regarding this right here, guys? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Is anybody confused? Anybody confused?
I got a quick question, Vinny.
What's up, bro?
When you were choosing your stop loss, I didn't hear what you said in the beginning, but you said that sometimes that's too big of a stop loss. Were
Oh,
you
okay.
referring to the last low?
No, the dominant low. I was saying if structure right here in this area is pretty funky, like if you can't see a clear low wick to find a tighter stop loss, you can always use the dominant low. That's always going to be okay, right? For some people, that can be a big stop loss. So we try to minimize that right here, right? But it's always
Yeah,
optional. You can use that. You can use that. You're
yeah,
just gonna have to under leverage a little bit, which is fine, right? Because this can be a $20 loss, and this can be a $20 loss as well. It's just
yeah.
how you want to manage your account. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes I like taking a bigger stop loss because I've noticed a lot just wicks you out just by a little bit.
Yeah. So for me too,
That's
like
good
if
to know.
yeah, for me too, if my stop loss is like that, I'm always giving it a little bit of room. Something like that. I'm not giving it something like this usually. It's a little bit too much, but something like that, I'm down for. And yeah, you can always use the low. So if that's something you want to start implementing in your back testing, and so you can go ahead and get some track record on that, you can go ahead and do that, bro. How would identifying if you're looking for buys or sells or buys or sells for the new people? Awesome, awesome. That's a great question. So that's what we're doing right now, actually. Right. So right now, guys, we are looking for buys because we are today's example. We're looking for bullish opportunities because the market would be in an uptrend. Right. So make sure you guys are taking notes today, guys, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking for on the charts today. So wait, thanks for bringing that up, Gio. What would you do if there's no pullback and it continues up? Do you rest, or are the different rules to enter? Yeah, so we're just waiting for the same thing, Justin. Right, if the market is just going, 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 we have to, like, we were late to the party, bro. Like, there's nothing you can do unless you're like good enough to jump on lower time frames and you're willing to mess around with the lower time frame to try to catch these buys. Then okay, but if something like that happens, you have to wait for the structure to develop. Like, you can't catch a falling knife. Let the market stop, take a rest, give you the pullback and structure you need so we can start looking for more bullish opportunities. Make sense? Because the last thing you want to do is try to catch a falling knife, bro. For me, especially if you're new, I prefer the higher time frames. Now it just makes it easier. Why? Because you're waiting more than you're trading, which is always good in my opinion, especially when you're new, right? I like the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame for me for my first 2 years always was like solid structure for me, right? Because you guys have to think about this, right? Lower time frames, there's going to be a lot more opportunities, which means you're going to be willing to risk your account a bit more often. Does that make sense? Give me a two if that makes sense. Lower time frames will have more opportunities, which will entice you to risk your account a bit more often, right? Now, once you hop on the 1 and 4 hour, there's going to be less opportunities throughout the week. You might get, one or two super solid opportunities throughout the week. So you're risking your account less. Right now, for me, the 4 hour was a good time frame because I was risking my account, once or twice a week. And for me, that was good. I wasn't over trading. I wasn't overlooking. I was literally waiting. Trading is about waiting for your confirmations. Now, once you start to get more advanced and you want to start developing yourself and start dropping down to a lower time frame because trading has already given you the time, you've gotten some time back now. You want to start doing some things and you want to start dropping down to lower time frames. Go ahead and do that. We're looking for the same thing no matter what. Everything I'm teaching you today is you can look at it down from the 1 minute time frame up to the monthly time frame. You can look at it in stocks, cryptos, the foreign exchange. You can look at it anywhere. Housing market, it's market structure, right? So it's everywhere. How does inflation affect forests? Does it benefit? It affects everything, bro, because it's currency and the nation's currency and how everything moves. So that ends up affecting the way their pairs run because their pairs are connected to their currency. So it does affect it pretty good. But good questions, guys. Good questions. So this right here is going to be for your starting point. Make sure you guys take pictures of this. 1 to 3 years to awards. Now, we're going to go ahead and cover the head and shoulder, right? The inverted head and shoulder. Because when the market is buying, right? Let's move this down here. When the market is in an uptrend, again, we want to continue riding these buys. Now, there are 2 head and shoulder setups we like to look for. We like to look for the selling head and shoulder when the market is going down in a downtrend, right? And we like to look for the buying head and shoulder when the market is in an uptrend. And this is called the inverted head and shoulder. This is the one right here. This helps us identify more buy opportunities using structure in a more advanced way. Give me a 2 if that makes sense, guys. Awesome. Again, if you have any questions, put a question mark or unmute anytime. Right? Now, where can we find these? Where can we find these setups? Usually at the lows here. If we can try to find something in here, that's great. In here, that's great. Right? Now, does it give us an opportunity every single time? Sometimes it misses, and that's okay. Sometimes you get stop loss, and that's okay, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this right here, and all we can do is take opportunities. Right? We have no say how the market's going to treat us that day. You know what I'm saying? But as the market is pulling back, we have to look for the structure. Now, this is where this setup gets a bit more advanced. But, if we break it down structure by structure, it gets a bit easier, right? I know, especially for myself, when I first got my hands dirty on the charts, I was overwhelmed, right? You're like, man, where do I start? Guys, it's okay. Like, I was there too. And I bet some of our vets were overwhelmed when they first got started as well. They had to ask for help. I know I did. It's okay, guys, right? The point is, you got to get started, right? Now, we take it slow. If the market structure broken closed right here, we label that as a break of structure. Now, I'm gonna get more into this right now. The market structure, break structure one more time, boom, you label that right there. Now, as soon as we change character, we have a setup. We have it. Now we can start looking for more buy opportunities in this area. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over that right now in more detail. So the game is setting stop losses and sells to make profit, correct? So the game is setting stop losses and sells to make profit, correct? The game is to look for high probability setups, right? Whether it's buys or sells, and we do our best to take these opportunities. We can buy, we can sell, and yes, you must set a stop loss because a stop loss is your safety net, right? Let's just say I didn't place a stop loss here. So let's just say I was willing to risk $20 on this trade. But you know what? That day, the market said, you know what? I'm just not feeling like going higher, and I'm going to go ahead and go low. But let's say you didn't even place a stop loss. All you did was place a take profit. Or maybe you didn't even place a take profit because, I've been there. I've been there when I was a month in. I didn't know what anything was. Right? So let's just say now you're down $50. Now you're down $60. Now you're down $80, $100. Your account is blown because all you threw in was $100. Guys, use a stop loss. A stop loss is your safety net. If you're willing to risk $5 to $10, okay, cool. You would lose your 5 to 10. You still have your $95 to $80 left in the tank, so you can look for more opportunities. So you need to start placing stop losses. It's okay if you take a loss. You're not a loser. Don't think that, right? I know society, and anytime we grew up, if you're not one, then you're nothing. If there is no number 2, there is no number 3. If you're not the best, then obviously you're not nothing, right? That's not how it is in trading. Dismantle that belief. Everybody is allowed to take losses here, and they can still be winners. Okay? Don't think because you take losses then you're a loser. We went over that last week when we calculated risk to reward, and I hope you guys had an extra sense of confidence. You're like, man, I'm gonna start moving in these markets different because I know I'm allowed and I can take 7 losses and still be profitable at the end of my 10 trade cycle. Who was on last week's call, guys? Give me a 5 if you were on last week's call. On Friday. That one was fire. I ain't gonna lie. We haven't really broken down risk to reward like that in a minute, and I feel like that one was definitely needed, especially for our beginners. It's basically a walking away from the table at a casino type. I gamble a lot, and it seems safer. It is. Once you come up, you got to do your thing. Of course, at the table, you may risk take a couple losses, and in that one pot, it pays you back plus some. And then you got to know what to do next. Whoever drew this, can you delete that, please? I would appreciate it, bro. Now let's go ahead and cover inverted head and shoulders. Give me a second. Oh, never mind. He did it. Appreciate you. All right. So let's go ahead and cover inverted head and shoulders. Go ahead and shrink this up just a little bit so we can save some space. No, you're good. You're good. So we can save some space. All right. So now, guys, we got to start focusing on the structure, right? This is where things start to get a bit more advanced. Because as the market is pulling back, right, higher high, higher low, we have to start focusing on the structure that's being broken to the downside. Right? This is where it gets a bit more advanced. But as soon as we go ahead and start to break structure back to the upside, we know that the market is ready to go higher now. We just have to capitalize when the market comes back so we can shift that market forward. Does that make sense? So we have to be a bit more detailed now, but that's okay because I'm gonna break it down in a way that makes sense. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead. Let's go. So as the market is coming, or making that lower low or higher low, we got to focus on the break of structures. So this is what it is, right? Low, high, break of structure. Let's go ahead and label that. That was the BOS of the downside. So I'm gonna go ahead and put BOS, but I'm gonna label it red because that was a bearish BOS, right? So let's go ahead. We have low, high, BOS, low, high. We need this BOS of the downside. So let's go ahead. Let's see if we can get that uno mas. Cool. We got the break of structure to the downside. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Right, guys? But there's one thing that we're missing. Right? One thing that we're missing. And I want to actually just back up. Let me just back up real quick. Guys, what are we missing here? Which one of my vets want to go ahead and draw on my chart? The change of direction. Let's go, JV. Let's go, Juan. Let's go, baby. The change of direction line. Need change of direction for buy opportunities. Let's go ahead and make that blue. We'll make this a bit smaller. Now, guys, if the market breaks and closes above this black line, we are now looking for buy opportunities so we can shift that market up. But if it does not break and close above, we can still expect it to go down a little bit more. And all we have to do is rinse and repeat. We adjust our break of structure, we adjust our line, and if the market wants to go and break and close above this line now, then we will start to look for buy opportunities. But if it doesn't and it stays below, we can still expect it to drop just a bit lower. And then we rinse and repeat. Does that make sense, guys? Give me a 5 if that makes sense. I'm gonna go ahead and break that down right now, but I wanted to make that super clear, because this step right here, the need to change of character line, the need change of character, oh my god, I can't even speak. The need change of direction for buy opportunity, forgive me, buy opportunity line is super important, guys, because that'll let us know when it's time to start looking for buys. But until it breaks and closes above, it can still head down. So let's go ahead and we'll break that down a bit more. So as of right now, the change of character line is right there. If the market breaks and closes above, we can start looking for buys, okay? Now, let's say the market wants to go lower. Cool. Market gave us a pullback and went lower. So all we have to do is continue to adjust. We can add another one and continue to move our line, or what we can do is just move and adjust. Because I know sometimes having all these BOSs can be annoying, but it helps, you know. So just continue to adjust. Now, if the market's ready to start buying now, we're going to wait for the market to break and close above this black line. Once the market breaks and closes, we can start looking for buy opportunities. But until then, we are waiting. Everybody type in the chat and say waiting. Waiting. You're waiting for this confirmation. You're waiting for this confirmation, guys. Right? Yes, sir. Now let's go ahead and say the market wants to go down one more time. Right? Let's just say the market wants to go down one more time, just for the example. Why not? Why not? We continue to adjust. We continue to adjust. Now, as soon as the market is ready to shift and break and close above, guys, we will now start looking for buy opportunities. So let's go ahead. We'll adjust. Let's confirm we did get the change of direction, and we will label it blue because it was a bullish change of direction. Right? Because the market was heading down and it changed direction and continued up. That's why we call it change of direction. Because it was heading down, then it changed its mind and started going back up again. Right? So once we see this, guys, that's our sign to start looking for some buy opportunities. Okay? Now, where are our buy zones? The BOSs. This is why it's so important to label up your charts, guys. Because the very last BOS before the change of direction, that's my zone. That's my shoulder zone. Does that make sense? Everybody, I want somebody give me a question mark if that doesn't make sense. My very last break of structure, right? We had a break of structure here, break of structure here, break of structure here. My very last break of structure, before we get this change of direction, that's my zone I'm going to use. That's the zone I'm going to use, right? So how do I find my zone? I want to look for the lowest wick in that area, and that will be my buy zone. So let me go ahead and we'll move this out the way real quick. I'm going to start my zone from the lowest wick, and I'm going to pull it till it touches my closest body. And let's just say it's this red one. So that's my zone. If my zone has a long wick, then you know what? My zone starts right here, and I pull it to my closest body, and that's my zone. Let's say my zone has a super short wick. Well, then that's my zone. Does that make sense, guys? And we'll go ahead and look at this on live charts as well. But does that make sense? The very last BOS is going to be my shoulder zone. Okay. Now, for me, I like to label these black. I'm not sure why. I just do. I'm weird. Right. Now, my stop loss. My stop loss is going to be the low. Okay. And it's obviously the lowest wick as well. So let's go ahead and just push these up because I know y'all like, bro, that's a stop loss, bro. That's crazy. It's all right, guys. It's a drawing. The lowest low will be my stop loss. So I have my entry, my stop loss with the minimum 1 to 3 risk to reward. Now again, levels is going to help you find this, right? Yes, Damien. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, I love that you guys can see it and I don't really have to say it. You know what I'm saying? We speak the same language. Let's not say that, actually. The market structure, we look at the same, but we speak different languages, right? We use different entries, but we're focused on the same structure. Same structure, bro. That's why I like it. That's why I love combining the two, because it makes my entry or my opportunity that I'm looking at make more sense. You know, if I can find some smart money in that as well, it just makes more sense. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to understand both. Let's see. It's the same, just more fundamentals. Exactly. We break down the charts and we make sure you guys understand the structure a bit more, because that's what levels is. It's a market structure based strategy, but it also ties hand in hand with the way smart money moves and thinks, right? So it's honestly, in my opinion, it's really good to know both, because you'll with levels, you'll really be like solid and super sharp with market structure, and then with smart money, you'll understand the way the market is thinking and the way why the market is moving the way it is, and then you combine both of them, and then you're just going to be an absolute beast. And that's why Powerhouse just creates absolute beasts, you know, in my opinion. Let's see. So your last low, which becomes your new stop loss. Yes, Fabrizio. I hope that's how you say it, bro. Fabrizio. If it's not, please unmute and correct me, bro. You can unmute. Promise. Yeah, so the low will be my stop loss. What was the black zone again? The black zone is my shoulder, my left shoulder. So let's actually just abbreviate this. Left shoulder. That's not what I wanted to do. Left shoulder. Now, what do I mean left shoulder, right? Let's go ahead and pull out the homie real quick. I remember when Oren pulled this out, and I was like, bro, what? That makes sense. Right? So, the low is going to be my head. Now, the last BOS is going to be my left shoulder. So, we have a left shoulder. Sometimes it's consolidation. That consolidation is also a left shoulder. The head will be my stop loss. And as soon as we get that change of direction, we're waiting for the market to come back into this black zone to give us our right shoulder to take that buy up. Does that make sense? The homie. Bro, I promise you, I've seen the homie more times than not. And I'm like, bro, this just makes sense. Let's see, who asked that question? Miguel. Does that make sense, Miguel? Awesome. Awesome. So let's label this as well. Stop loss. Slash head. We'll make this black. Oops. Under. Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, guys, once the market comes back into this black line, that gives us the right shoulder. We are looking to take some buy opportunities. So as the market comes back and touches this black box, this completes the head and shoulder setup, and we are looking to continue these buys and shift the market in an uptrend. Let's go. I'm gonna pull that up right now. Does that make sense, guys? We are looking to continue with this uptrend. Now, all of this, guys, is going down on a lower time frame, because when you jump up to a higher time frame, it looks like simple candles or simple structure: higher high, higher low, higher high. But when you drop down, everything is playing out like this. Everything is playing out like this. Boom, shift. If you can catch this right here, you just caught the move and you shifted the market higher. Everything is playing like that, guys. Promise you. Higher time frame, the black line is higher time frame, right? The blue line is lower time frame. This is exactly how the market looks. And if you can get really good at this, man, you're going to be a beast, right? You're going to be a beast. So let's go ahead and label this up one more time. This is the head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulder. Inverted head and shoulder buy opportunity. Head is a stop loss and the last BOS is the left shoulder, right? Yes, Isha. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Take a screenshot of these, guys. Put this in your notes. You guys should have a whole notebook. Every page. Monday should be something like this. And then Friday should be bullet points of something you learned while backtesting. Jot down everything. Every clicking moment you get, guys, you guys should be jotting that down in your notebooks. Taking screenshots of these. If you guys have a printer, I know somebody who used to print these examples out every week. Draw them if you can. If you're an artist, draw them. You know, I'm not an artist, so I mean, unfortunately, mine are just lines. Mine look like these, the simple drawings. But you know, we still in there. But yeah, guys. Now again, where can we find these setups? These inverted setups right here. It's best in these low areas, so we can shift the market higher. Right? So we in there, baby. I hope you guys were able to get some value from that. Now let's go ahead. I think Michael sent in something. Let's take a look. Yes, I do see this as well. Now you are on structure inside of here that you are looking at. So let's go ahead. I do see this as well, right? There is liquidity, consolidation. The market does break lower, and then we just, boom, shift the market up higher, right? Now, this would be a buy zone. I see you. But when I zoom out and I take a look at the bigger picture, rather than just this right here, I see something just a little different, right? So look at this. Notice how we have a low that's broken here, BOS. This would make this my head, right? This is my stop loss. My change of direction would be right here. Notice how we have left shoulder, head, change of direction, we continue to the upside. My left shoulder is right here. Sniped. Shifted the market higher. So my right shoulder was completed and shifted the market higher. Now every time, I wouldn't say every time, every time, guys, there's a right shoulder, there's a head and shoulder set up right behind it. But the thing is you have to look for it, right? Let's just say, boom, head and shoulder. We're looking for buys here. As the market comes back, touches this right shoulder is now completed. Once we change character, notice how we have another head and shoulder. Builds up consolidation. This right shoulder is now completed with this right shoulder, or this shoulder. And then as soon as we can go higher, we're looking for the same exact thing. Does that make sense, guys? Sometimes it won't look as clean as this. Sometimes they're going to be super, super funky. I know JV just had a clicking moment right now, bro. Once I learned that with Oren, I was like, bro, that's all you had to tell me? And I was just waiting at that point. Waiting. Right? So let's go ahead. My very last BOS is right here. My change of character is right here. My starting point to this change of character is right here. Notice how this starting point has not been touched. And there's still a little imbalance for you smart money traders right there. Right? Not only that, there's also liquidity being built up right there. Money.
So yeah, that double bottom was one of the things that kind of like worried me. That was more of a high risk trade right there.
No, but it's good. I see what you're seeing, but now we have to, like break it down on a bigger spectrum. For sure. I see exactly what you're seeing, But that's where if you're stuck on lower time frames, these lower time frames traders are going to get clapped because of the bigger time frame setup. Does that make sense?
It makes dollars, Vinny.
Let's go, baby. So notice, guys, we have a fresh starting point and a shoulder. That's right here, same area. Now my stop loss for the head and shoulder would be this low here. It sucks, but that's what it is. This is the lowest low. If you want to tighten it up and use this one, you can do that. But if you end up getting like a wicked out and then it goes and it never broke this low, I mean, you know exactly why you took the stop loss, in that area. But yeah, this looks pretty good. I do like this, these areas down here, especially the starting point. I like that because we do have liquidity being built up right there. So, yeah, guys. And again, that's also a lesson, right? Like, don't always get caught up. And I'm not saying you were, Michael, but don't always get caught up on lower time frame setups. Like, always, like, okay, you found it, right? Great. But now zoom out and see if that's something that they're trying to entice you with, right? Do they want you to get in right here so they can use you as liquidity, stop loss, and then we're going, right? So just keep that in mind, because I know you're a vet, Mike. You're always a student, so that's something to look out for right there as well. Is equal lows. Let me see. I know there was one before those two. I think it was just those. All right. Bet. Let me pull this up over here. Share screen, my boy. All right, what is this? This is NAS. Is there something that you were looking at right here that you want to speak about? So,
what area?
Was there something that you wanted to speak on right here?
Oh yeah, so I have right there, I have equal lows, that first zone I have. Yeah, so I was looking at that for possible buys, but I mean the only thing that I'm skeptical about is the equal lows. So then I have my next or like my more confident area, right, which is the starting point.
I like that as well because of the structure that's been given with it. We have obviously a lot of resistance right here, and we break and close above this with a nice strong rally. And it also gives you a starting point, and obviously levels is giving you this as a left shoulder as well. So I like this. This looks pretty good. The only thing I'm tripping on is these equal lows, to be honest. But obviously you see that. So, if we take a loss because of this, that's exactly why. But we just have to learn from those, But no, I like this. This looks good. I have this as well, but everything you have, I have on my chart too. So good eyes, love it.
Bet.
Yes, sir, sir. Let's get it. Let's see who we got next. The boy Juan. US 30. I have the same markup. Yeah, I have the same markup. Let me see. Actually, I'm not even on it for you guys. This looks good, Juan. I like this, bro. Your chart work just gets better, bro, month to month, and I like seeing that, dude. Keep grinding, my boy. I love it. But we can easily see, guys, that market is just BOS. 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 Market is in a downtrend in this specific area. Like, market is just heavily downtrending, right? But we're waiting for the confirmation. Notice how this low made this, this high made this low. This low made this high. This high shifted down and made this low. So this would be my break of structure. This would be my change of direction. And everything looks clean for US 30. And I believe SPX looks fairly similar. The only one that looks a bit off is NAS. But yes, so I do like this, right? We have the internal change of character right here. Oops, that's not straight at all. We're trying to make it super straight. Change of direction right here inside, right? Internal, which gives us a starting point right here, which that's good. I'm glad you have that as well. Now that lines up with the structure, the big structure, which is great. That goes hand in hand, right? That goes hand in hand. Now, but because we have a starting point right here that gives us this change of direction, right? This push gave us this change of direction, which is good. So we do have a starting point, but that also gives us liquidity right here. So I'm glad that everything that I'm seeing, you're seeing as well. So that means that you're developing, which is great, bro. I love to see that. But because we have a starting point right here, guys, I'm not going to be the first one in because I like these zones much lower. I'm not going to be the first one in, but when the market wants to make its way, I have to mark these things up. I have to mark these things up because once the market gives me that shift and change of direction, the market could possibly be ready to go. Right? Especially when it's big swings. Like this is on the 1 hour, so we can see it a bit clearly, but this is probably very nice structure on the 4 hour and possibly the daily. And when you see structure like this on the 4 hour and the daily, those are moves that are ready to take action. And I mean like moves that are ready for pumping, like heavily momentumed moves. When you see structure like this on the 4 hour, daily, weekly, those are moves that are ready for momentum. So if we see this off of this starting point, guys, I'm personally willing to take a loss right here, right? Because I'm looking to continue up. I've seen time and time again, and I know y'all have as well, that the market will respect this and leave this zone for later. But the thing is, you didn't want to take this one because you're like, you know what, I'm waiting for the lower zone. So, that's just what it is. The market's going to respect me, and that's just what it's going to be. And don't get me wrong, I get it, right? But at the same time, we also have to use our risk to reward. Now, when we see these opportunities, this is opportunity 1, and this is opportunity 2. We went over risk to reward last week. Out of a 10 trade cycle, I can personally, right, the cushion with the 1 to 3 risk to reward, I can lose 7 times out of 10 times, and those 3 trades that are winners still make me profitable. So if you missed that call, I will be posting that, and you can go ahead and cover that as well. So this is what it is, guys. You have to run your risk to reward. You have to be willing to take a loss so you don't miss this move. And that doesn't mean you're a loser. I want you guys to know that. It doesn't mean that you're a loser. You're trying to catch these opportunities. That was an educated loss. If the market comes lower, that's fine. We'll catch the move here and we'll shift the market higher. Guys, once we shift the market higher, we've already recouped this loss here. Like we boom, once we got the market and we shifted this market up, like this loss has already been like recouped. We're good. If the market can continue to go our way, then obviously, we're goats and legends in this space, and we're just here to smack the markets all day. Let's go, baby. But does that make sense, guys? And one thing I learned about this, I learned this heavily with Valentino. He covers this in his boot camp, and he makes sure you know it. He makes sure that you know it. Because he looks for these opportunities as well. The same thing that I'm looking at, he's smart money, and I'm levels, but again, we're focused on the same structure. And the opportunities that he's looking at, guys, I'm looking at. We just might mark it up a bit differently, right? So the fact that you guys are learning levels, if you guys don't know smart money just yet, once you go and check that out, you guys are going to already have that thing locked and loaded. Why? Because you're already used to level structure. It was different for me. I was given smart money. They said, hey, we trade smart money here. I'm going to go ahead and put you onto educators that we watch because that's helped us. And, I know we can help you too. But for me, like, bro, I'm slow. Like, I'm a third-thirder, bro. Like, I'm like, I get hella blonde moments, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, like, shit just goes over my head. So for me, smart money was just a bit too complicated. But once I learned levels, bro, levels helped me out so much. And when I went back to smart money, I was like, oh my goodness, y'all trading very, very similar like me. Right? So, guys, got to be willing to take that loss to catch that dub later and shift that market higher. If he covers that and he helps you understand, like, it's okay to take that loss to bounce back because you have no control what the market is going to give you. Right? So take that with a grain of salt, and I hope that makes sense, Juan. And this is why we continue to get better, right? Like, I've watched Mike, I've watched Oren, I watched Jordan and Zach. I watch Mike Sotero. I watch all these educators. Why? To build up my mental strength, to build up my knowledge, right? How would I know this right here without watching Valentino? And I started watching Valentino fairly recently. Like, I didn't watch him my first 3 years. I just got into him maybe like a couple months ago. So like that gives me a lot more confidence in my strategy. Like, hey, I already knew I can take a loss and bounce back, but the fact that he's saying it and making it very, very clear on why I can just makes me like that much more confident. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of these boot camps, guys. Like, they're there for a reason, and the more you implement them, you know, the better you get. Hey, you know what? I have the same thing. This Josue. I have the same
Bro, what's
thing.
up?
Yeah, I have the same
Yeah,
thing. This is actually pretty good. So
yeah.
because the market is actually in a bullish state right now,
Mhm.
let's see, we have low, high. Market's chilling around right here. If we can drop down to lower time frame in this area, let's see if we
Mhm.
can catch some bullish opportunities and shift the market a bit higher. So we can see if we can catch that.
Yeah.
CPI tomorrow with CAD. Okay, let's go ahead and look at was it AUD CAD? It's not even in Sydney. That's funny. AUD CAD. Wow, this ugly, bro. But you had this zone here. All right, now let's go ahead and dive in the structure. All right, so I'm seeing a break of structure right here. BOS to the upside with these candles. Now the starting point for this time frame would be this big ass red candle. But I want to drop down and see if I can minimize that. Okay, cool. You see how as soon as we drop down, look at what arrow levels is giving us, guys. What color are those arrows? Everybody unmute and tell me those colors. If y'all can see those colors. I know.
Blue.
Blue.
There's
Thank you.
some blue arrows, man.
Yes, sir. So look, my starting point now is down here. We minimize that just a bit. Now it looks like the market has already tapped into that. So we may be late to the party, but let's drop down to the 15-minute. So I do like this area down here. Let's make this blue because this is a starting point. Now let's focus on this structure on the way down. Notice how we have BOS to the downside. BOS, bottom, red, bottom. BOS to the downside. BOS to the downside. BOS to the downside. Cool. Now my change of character line would be right here. So notice how my left shoulder is way down here. And what do we have? Equal lows. Equal lows. Some liquidity being built up right here in this area, which is also nice for the setup. But not only that, for some of our smart money traders, we also have an imbalance here as well. So this is a good zone. I like this zone for reactions. If we can get a bit deeper, that's great. Because look at this, guys. The same thing, right? You guys have to think of this. Sometimes we get in early. Sometimes we want to get in right here, first touch, and myself included. Shift the market up. But look at, guys, where's my previous breakage structure to the downside? How did we get here? What brought us down here? We broke structure to the downside. We have a bearish BOS, which means my change of character has to be this high. Change of character for buy opportunities, which means I have to wait for the market to start shifting up, break and close above, so we can look for more buy opportunities. Now, we're on the 15-minute, so this opportunity can happen maybe tomorrow or the next day. But I want to try to catch the market down here while it's low. So what can we do? We wait for the same thing just down here. What if the market wants to go ahead, pump up, and then maybe push a bit lower. Now I have a break of structure down here. My change of character line is here. And if the market is ready to go up higher, we'll start looking for some buy opportunities and shift the market higher. Give me a 2 if that makes sense. Because then it gives us that inverted head and shoulder we're looking to start buying now. Right? But now look, what if the market wants to go just a bit lower to one of these zones? Let's say the market wants to consolidate. Market drops lower. Cool. I wanted to get in here anyways. I would love to see if we can get into there. That'd be great. My stop loss is here as well. Let's make that known, right? Now, my change of character line is right here. So if we can get the market to break and close above this black line, right? This BOS becomes my left shoulder. This low becomes my head. And if the market can come back and give me a right shoulder, that would be great. Right? Let's make this left shoulder. We'll pull out the homie. Spin his head right round, right round. All right, boom. That's what we'll be looking for. That's the setup. If the market can respect this right shoulder or possibly this imbalance, right? You know, because I know smart money looks for those imbalances, which is great. Goes hand in hand with our structure, so it makes sense. But if we can get this inverted shift, then we can go ahead and see if we can capitalize on these zones to continue the market higher. Anybody have any questions? Josue, does that make sense, bro? If we can get something like this for, you know, maybe tonight or tomorrow for CPI, then I would love to see if we can continue, you know, that bullish move, because the market has just been, you know, doing its thing with the bullishness. So yeah, not mad at all. Looks like there's a nice play down here as well. Nice play down there with a lot of liquidity, right? So hey, don't get mad if this gets clapped. Then look what we got here. Oh, look at what happens when we zoom out too, bro. Did you see that? See what happens when you zoom out? Look at what we got. BOS to the downside. Slash left shoulder. What did the market come down here for? Well, we have a starting point right here. Easy starting point, easy money. We have liquidity sweep, break of structure, slash left shoulder, and it looks like we have the change of character that we're looking for. So if the market does not respect this or does anything we said, right? Because again, we have to wait. We have to wait for this stuff to happen. If none of this happens, right? Because we have to wait for our confirmations. If none of this happens, then we can probably expect the market to drop down and give us a way better entry down here. Now, what do you think about that, Josue? I know you can see that, bro. That will give us a pretty nice risk to reward if we could take our stop loss there. To the high that it's already created is 1 to 3, and if we could take it to that sell zone that you and I are both looking for, that's pretty much a 1 to 5. So that looks pretty good, in my opinion. So yes, this area we must wait for that, and then things down here look a bit better. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. But again, you know, I've seen time and time again that some markets are so bullish, they will respect this, continue up, and they will save zones, you know, like this for later. So that's why we wait for our confirmations rather than jumping in, guys. But any questions before we hop off? Any questions? Any questions? I do have a leadership call right now. I'm late already. Shout out to the Level Squad. We late. Shout out to the Level Squad. Let's go, baby. Keep me late.
Take it easy, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Do I trade NQ? Yes, I do. I do trade NAS. I do trade NASDAQ. But yeah, I like to trade the indices. Those are like my bread and butter. I trade those more than anything else. So yeah. If you're not in the levels chat, make sure you're in the levels chat. I send a lot of indice trades inside that. So yeah, make sure you guys are in there. But with that being said, guys, you guys have a great week, a great trading week. Trade responsibly, right? Calculate your trades. Don't overtrade. Don't revenge trade. Make sure you check higher time frames. Check your notes. You guys have the answers to the test inside your notes. So if you take notes, if you take time to take the notes, you guys should have a lot of the answers on you to stay confident and to make the proper moves in the market, right? So with that being said, fam, I appreciate you for hopping on. I hope this call gave you guys some value, and I will see you guys on Friday. Peace out, family. You guys have a great night.